There's something about Fridays, not just the relief of wrapping up the week, but the quiet hope that something good might still happen before it ends. It's the day we tend to dress a little lighter, maybe meet someone new, or finally have that conversation we've been putting off. But here's a subtle truth many overlook. The color you wear on a Friday can actually influence what kind of energy you carry and what kind of energy you attract. It's not magic. It's not superstition. It's about signaling. Just like a handshake or a smile, color communicates something about your state of mind, your openness, and yes, even your readiness to receive what's next. Across time and cultures, Friday has always held a slightly different frequency. It's ruled by Venus, associated with beauty, money, and connection. And whether you believe in astrology or not, this idea reflects something practical. When we feel clear, attractive, or purposeful, people respond. Opportunities lean closer. Decisions become easier. So what if the color you wore could help tip the scale just slightly in your favor? Not because it's guaranteed to change your life, but because it quietly shifts your energy, your presence, and the way others read you. That's what this video is about. Not dressing to impress, not following trends, but choosing your Friday color with a little more intention and noticing how something so small might quietly change the tone of your day. We're not talking about big overhauls. Just a scarf, a blouse, a bracelet, one choice that aligns with the kind of Friday you want to have. So if you've ever felt like some days just flow better than others, maybe it wasn't luck. Maybe it was the way you showed up and the color you chose to wear. Part 1: Why Friday isn't just another day. It's easy to think of Friday as just the end of the work week, a day to breathe, unwind, and maybe slip into something more comfortable before the weekend begins. But what if Friday isn't just the tail end of your week? What if it's actually the most energetically charged day you have? The day where the right choice, the right word, even the right color could quietly set things in motion. For centuries, Friday has been tied to the planet Venus. Whether or not you follow astrology, the symbolism still matters. Venus represents connection, value, beauty, money, grace, all things that feel more personal than powerful. Yet it's often that soft power that shapes the turning points in life. The conversation that changes a relationship, the outfit that gets a second look, the way someone remembers how you made them feel. Friday is that kind of energy. It doesn't demand attention like a Monday. It doesn't chase closure like a Thursday. It invites, it allows, and if you're aware of it, even just a little, you can align with it in a way that feels strangely effortless. Think about it. How many times have you had a Friday that felt lucky? A client said yes out of the blue. A check cleared faster than expected. Someone opened up. Something shifted. These moments may seem random, but often they aren't. Friday holds a particular momentum, a space between finishing and beginning, between structure and freedom. It's when the emotional and practical layers of life overlap, creating a perfect window for things to move. That's why choosing how you show up on a Friday matters more than you think, because energy, even the subtle kind, responds to signals. The color you wear, the mindset you carry, the way you carry yourself, all of it communicates whether you're open, grounded, distracted, or ready. Friday is not a day to impress others. It's a day to align inwardly with what you want to receive. That might sound abstract, but in practice, it's incredibly simple. When you wear something that makes you feel quietly confident, that doesn't tug at you or require effort to explain, something shifts. You become more present, more open. And others feel that, sometimes without even knowing why. That's the essence of Venus energy. It's not loud, it's magnetic. It doesn't pull attention, it draws curiosity. And in our world, where people are constantly overstimulated, that kind of calm presence can be powerfully attractive. Not in a superficial way, but in a, I want to work with her, trust her, listen to her kind of way. Friday is also a day when people are more emotionally available. The week is winding down. Guards are lower, timing becomes more fluid. People say yes more easily, not just to others, but to themselves. which means if you're looking to open a door, present an idea, share something important, or simply be seen in a softer light, Friday is your opening. That doesn't mean you have to be strategic or calculating. It simply means you don't need to overlook this day as just another Friday. It can be the quiet hinge in your week where everything begins to turn if you know how to work with it. And part of that begins with something as simple and tangible as color. Color isn't decoration. It's communication, it's atmosphere, it's energy. The right shade can change your mood, shift how others perceive you, and subtly affect the way your day flows. Especially on a Friday when emotional and material energies are both heightened, color becomes a tool not for appearance but for alignment. This is where intention meets practice, not through effort but through presence. Choosing what you wear, how you prepare, and how you carry yourself on Friday doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be conscious. That's all it takes for energy to respond differently. You're not trying to manipulate the day. You're simply showing up with a quiet message. I'm open, I'm ready. And when you do, don't be surprised if things move, if the phone call comes, if the right words land, if someone sees you differently, if momentum begins to shift in a way that doesn't feel forced, but feels true. Friday isn't just another day. It's a moment between waves, and when you learn how to ride it, even gently, it can carry you further than you expected. Part 2: 4 colors that shift energy without making a scene. 1. Honey yellow. Honey yellow doesn't shout, but it always gets heard. It's the color of slow-cooked warmth, of things that mature with grace. Sunlight at 5 p.m. Fresh honey drizzled on toast, a handwritten note left just when you needed it most. In a week full of decisions, meetings, emails, and emotional noise, honey yellow enters like a quiet friend who brings both calm and clarity. That's what makes it a powerful Friday color. You don't wear honey yellow to stand out. You wear it to draw something in: trust, ease, timing. It's the kind of color that says, I'm steady, without ever having to say a word. And in a world that constantly rewards noise, that softness can be your greatest advantage. On Fridays, emotional and material energy intersect. People are still working, but they are beginning to exhale. They're open to connection, but only if it feels easy. Real honey yellow supports that exact energy. It's warm without being dramatic, present without being pushy. And when you wear it, even in the smallest detail, a scarf, a cardigan, a soft pair of earrings, you begin to carry that same frequency. Others feel it even if they can't explain it, especially in environments where trust matters, whether you're teaching, leading, creating, advising, or simply showing up in a relationship that could use a little more tenderness. This color adds something invisible but undeniable. It lowers defenses, it holds space, and it creates room for people to say yes. The psychology behind honey yellow is just as steady. Studies show that soft yellows stimulate optimism, clarity, and warmth without the overstimulation of neon tones. It lifts mood gently, like natural light warming a room. That's why it works so well on Fridays, when energy is softer and people are more receptive to sincerity than performance. This shade also carries emotional symbolism. Yellow is often associated with gold, value, prosperity, but honey yellow tempers that with humility. It says, I know my worth and I don't need to prove it. That unspoken confidence makes people listen more closely when you speak, trust you faster, and engage more fully. In business, it's a strategic choice. In daily life, it's simply wise. Think about the energy you want to carry at the end of the week. If Monday is ambition and Wednesday is momentum, then Friday is intention. It's not about doing more, it's about receiving better. Wearing honey yellow isn't just about the surface look. It's about how you feel when you look in the mirror. Do you feel warm, steady, open? That feeling will influence the tone of your conversations, the timing of your decisions, the way others respond to you. That's how color works. It's not about fashion, it's about frequency. And the frequency of honey yellow is, I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm ready. And in some weeks, that message is exactly what life needs to hear from you. The best part? Honey yellow is incredibly versatile. It plays well with white, beige, soft blues, light browns, even muted greens. You don't have to wear it head to toe. In fact, the color is often more powerful in balance, paired with a neutral tone, layered under a blazer, or worn as a quiet accent. This isn't about dressing up. It's about tuning in to what the day is asking, to how you want to feel, and to the version of yourself that shows up best when you're not pushing, just allowing. Friday doesn't need more from you. It needs less force, more flow. And honey yellow helps you step into that energy naturally. It's what you wear when you want things to unfold, not be forced. It's what you wear when you want a conversation to feel easy, an idea to land softly, or an unexpected moment of connection to appear without warning. Because that's what this color does. It prepares you to receive without needing to chase. So next Friday, before you reach for your usual neutrals or default comfort colors, pause. Ask yourself what kind of energy you want to bring into the room, into the conversation, into your own space. If the answer is warmth, value, and calm magnetism, then let honey yellow walk with you. Not because it's magic, but because it reminds you that good things often arrive not when you work harder, but when you show up more clearly. 2. Pure white or cream. White is often mistaken for emptiness, but in truth, it's one of the most powerful colors you can wear, especially on a Friday. Pure white or soft cream isn't about being bold or flashy, it's about bringing space. And space is exactly what most people are craving by the end of the week. Mentally, emotionally, energetically, wearing white signals something subtle but unmistakable. Clarity, openness, readiness. It's the color of clean slates and fresh pages, of quiet strength that doesn't need noise to be noticed. On Fridays, when the emotional and practical layers of the week begin to settle, and people are more attuned to tone than detail, white offers a kind of reset. It softens your presence while sharpening your focus. You become easier to approach, yet harder to ignore. And in many ways, that's the ideal energy to carry into a conversation, a decision, a room. When you wear white, especially in professional or social spaces, you don't just look polished, you feel aligned. It has a way of bringing your thoughts into order, of helping you speak more precisely, of letting your true message come through without distraction. That's not just about style, that's about energy. White strips away the static. It acts like a gentle filter between you and the world, allowing what matters to come through and letting the rest pass quietly by. If honey yellow is the warmth of a sunny afternoon, white is the calm of morning light, cool, clear, and full of possibility. And on a Friday, when people are deciding what to take with them into the weekend and what to leave behind, that kind of clarity becomes incredibly magnetic. This is especially true when you're facing a moment of choice. Maybe you're wrapping up a deal, preparing for a conversation that matters, or looking to shift the energy in a relationship or workspace. White helps you show up without baggage. It says, "I'm here, I'm clear, let's begin again." And that message, even when delivered in silence, is often all someone needs to trust you, hear you, choose you. For those who work in fields that require negotiation, accuracy, leadership, or emotional poise, finance, legal, wellness, education, even family caretaking, white and cream shades offer a rare combination of softness and authority. You're not overpowering, but you're fully present. You're not hiding behind trends, but you're not fading in either. You're simply visible. And in a world of constant noise and overstimulation, visible calm is powerful. Cream tones especially bring in an added warmth. They soften the edges of pure white, making it more approachable while still carrying that clarity. They're perfect for moments when you want to stay grounded without feeling cold, composed without being distant. It's that balance of strength and softness, of stillness and presence, that makes white and cream so effective on Fridays. When people are winding down and choosing what kind of weekend they want to walk into, your energy becomes part of that decision. What you wear isn't about decoration. It's part of the atmosphere you create. And when you wear white or cream with intention, you're offering space for something new to unfold, for yourself and for others. On a personal level, wearing white can also feel deeply refreshing. It can lift your mood, calm your mind, and reconnect you with the version of yourself that isn't cluttered by the week's demands. The version of you that's honest, thoughtful, receptive. That version is the one most likely to receive insight, clarity, and unexpected opportunities. Because opportunities don't always come with fanfare. Sometimes they arrive quietly through a phone call, a look, a moment of alignment you weren't expecting. And when your energy is clean and clear, those moments tend to find you more easily. White is also deeply symbolic. It represents endings and beginnings. It's the color people wear to mark milestones, weddings, christenings, spiritual rituals, not because it's neutral, but because it carries a sacred kind of possibility. It creates room for transition, for grace, for something new. That's what makes it perfect for Fridays. The week isn't over yet, but you're already leaning forward, already asking yourself what you want to take with you. Wearing white is a way of saying, I'm open to what's next, but I'm doing it on my terms. That's not a costume, that's a signal, and people feel it. Whether you choose a crisp white blouse, a soft cream sweater, an ivory scarf, or just a pearl-toned bracelet, what matters is how it makes you feel when you put it on. Do you feel clearer, lighter, more present? That's the power of this color. It doesn't need to explain itself. It just brings you back to yourself. And that, on any Friday, is a beautiful way to close one chapter and begin the next. 3. Blush pink or soft lavender. Some colors don't speak loudly, but they speak straight to the heart. Blush pink and soft lavender are two of those colors. On a Friday, when people are quietly deciding how much of themselves to give, how open to be, how connected they feel, these colors send a message that matters. Not look at me, but you can come closer. That's the real power of blush pink and soft lavender. They don't demand attention, they invite it. They soften the emotional atmosphere without weakening it. And when you wear them, whether in your top, scarf, jewelry, or even nail color, you shift your energy from guarded to graceful. That's not about being nice or polite. It's about being emotionally available, about showing up as someone who listens, someone who feels, someone who allows space for other people to bring their full selves too. And that is often where the most meaningful opportunities begin. On Fridays especially, people tend to operate more from intuition than logic. They're closing loops, finishing conversations, or considering new ones. They're less focused on proving and more open to feeling, which means how you make them feel can shift everything. That's where these colors come in. Blush pink carries a vibration of warmth, sincerity, and ease. It suggests approachability, kindness, and a quiet inner strength. When you wear it, you soften the edge of power without losing the core of it. You still lead, you still show up, but you do it with grace. And grace lingers in people's minds much longer than perfection ever could. Soft lavender, on the other hand, offers a different kind of emotional clarity. It's the color of thoughtful calm, of insight, of wisdom that doesn't need to dominate to be heard. Lavender says, I see you, and I'm still grounded in myself. It's particularly powerful when you want to foster emotional safety, whether in a team, a family setting, or a sensitive conversation. These colors are especially useful for those working in roles that require connection: sales, coaching, wellness, customer care, teaching, therapy, creative leadership. Any space where how people feel around you influences what happens next. But even outside of work, these tones create emotional alignment. They help you drop the emotional armor you've likely worn all week. They help you breathe deeper, speak more freely, and see others not as tasks or roles, but as human beings. Blush pink doesn't make you look soft. It makes you look secure enough to be gentle. And soft lavender doesn't make you fade. It helps you hold presence without pressure. In a culture that often equates power with volume, these colors offer something much more compelling: resonance. They let your energy linger. They make people feel safer to be honest, more drawn to open up, more willing to say yes. Not because they are being persuaded, but because they feel seen. The colors support that emotional chemistry. They don't do the work for you, but they make the work lighter. And they align with your intention to lead from trust rather than force. On a Friday, when people's emotional radar is especially sensitive, this can be your secret strength. Whether you're closing a project, navigating something vulnerable, or just hoping to spark something new, wearing blush pink or soft lavender shifts the tone. It tells people, you're safe here. It tells you, you don't need to carry the whole week into the weekend. These shades also carry personal meaning. For many, pink represents self-compassion. It reconnects you with the part of yourself that is tender, tired, hopeful, or quietly healing. Lavender represents inner wisdom. It honors what you've learned and trusts what you don't yet know. When you choose to wear these colors, you're not dressing for others. You're honoring what you've walked through and how you want to carry yourself forward. That's the deeper purpose of energy-aware dressing. It's not about performance, it's about alignment. These tones also blend beautifully with other energy-supportive colors. Pink with beige, lavender with ivory, or either with light denim, gold, silver, or soft brown. The combinations don't need to be dramatic. In fact, the quieter they are, the more powerful they often feel. Just a hint on your wrist, near your face, and your accessories is enough to shift how you move through the day. And sometimes that small shift is all you need. Because when you soften your field, people approach differently. Conversations take a gentler turn. Even friction seems to ease up. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You signaled openness, grace, trust, and those signals don't go unnoticed. They ripple, they reach. And in time, they return to you. So if this Friday you're hoping for ease, for healing, for connection, or even just a quieter kind of strength, choose blush pink or soft lavender. Let them wrap around you like a whisper that says, you don't have to try so hard, you just have to be present. That alone can open doors you never thought would budge. 4. Earth brown or beige. Earth brown and beige aren't colors people typically chase, and that's exactly why they're powerful. In a world addicted to attention and shine, these grounded tones whisper what we often forget, that stability is a strength. That calm isn't weakness. That sometimes being steady is what makes you magnetic. On Fridays, when the week has taken its toll and there's pressure to finish strong, earth tones offer something very different. A safe place to land. Brown is the color of the soil, the foundation beneath your feet. Beige is the softness of sand, of linen, of the neutral pause between too much and not enough. Together, they remind you that you don't always have to rise. You can simply root. That message is especially potent at the end of a week. Maybe you've led, managed, negotiated, supported. Maybe your energy has been stretched thin. Wearing earth brown or beige on a Friday is like saying to yourself and to the world, I'm grounded, I'm enough, I don't need to chase. That shift in energy does something remarkable. It calms people around you. It creates a field of trust. Others begin to breathe more easily, speak more plainly, settle into your presence like they've entered a quieter room. And when that happens, meaningful things begin to emerge. Clarity, conversation, collaboration. Not because you pushed, but because you allowed space for it. Brown has long been associated with reliability, depth, and quiet power. It's what we associate with things that last: wood, earth, stone. When you wear brown, especially in soft or rich tones, you become a signal of consistency. And in moments where decisions are being made, that presence is often what tips the scale. Beige adds a layer of emotional warmth. It's not flashy, but it's rarely forgotten. It blends easily with other tones, creams, whites, muted greens, golds, and can soften even the most structured outfit. That's part of its magic. It lets you hold your shape while inviting softness in. For women navigating work environments, partnerships, or family systems where being the strong one is a constant role, brown and beige offer a quiet reset. They let you hold space for others without losing yourself. They let you step back without disappearing. You still lead, but from the roots, not the spotlight. Wearing these colors isn't about blending in. It's about anchoring down. It's saying, I'm not trying to impress. I'm trying to stay clear. That clarity is rare and people feel it. Whether you're speaking up in a meeting, negotiating a delicate agreement, holding emotional space for someone you love, or simply trying to wrap up the week with your energy intact, earthy tones send a message of calm authority. They say, I'm not reacting, I'm responding. And that's a tone that makes people trust you more. On an internal level, wearing brown or beige can also feel like an energetic exhale. You may notice you carry less tension in your shoulders, speak a little slower, or feel more present in your body. These aren't small things. These are the kinds of micro shifts that change how your day unfolds. Earth tones also help protect your energy. When you've been around too much emotional volatility or chaos during the week, brown and beige act as quiet stabilizers. They don't absorb the noise, they buffer it. They keep you steady when other people aren't. That's why therapists, leaders, caretakers, and service professionals often reach for these colors instinctively. There's a reason military uniforms, heritage garments, and traditional architecture across cultures are rooted in earth tones. They're timeless. They hold history. They hold us. So on a Friday, when you're walking the edge between finishing and letting go, grounding into these colors can help you land more peacefully. Whether it's a chocolate-toned blazer, a soft tan sweater, taut trousers, or a beige trench, these pieces aren't just style choices. They're energetic decisions. They say, I don't need to be loud, I just need to be clear. If you've had a long week and you want to close it with dignity, calm, and a quiet sense of control, brown and beige are your allies. They are the colors you reach for when you're not chasing anything, but you're ready to keep everything you've built. That kind of energy doesn't just keep your day balanced, it often leads to the exact outcomes you wanted in the first place. Not because you reached harder, but because you stayed rooted. So if this Friday you're tired of the pressure to perform, if you want to carry yourself with steadiness, integrity, and grace, step into earth brown or beige. Let your presence say what words can't. I'm here, I'm whole, and I don't need to rush. That's the energy that quietly holds the room and shifts everything inside it. Part 3: Mistakes that dull the energy of color. Color is powerful, but only when it's aligned. You can wear the most intentional color in the world, but if the energy behind it is out of sync, it won't work the way you hoped. It's easy to think that simply putting on yellow will bring abundance, or that wearing white will instantly attract clarity. But the truth is, energy doesn't respond to the color alone. It responds to the message you're sending through it. And sometimes, that message gets blocked by small but significant mistakes we don't even realize we're making. One of the most common, wearing the right color, but in the wrong emotional state. If you put on something powerful while carrying resentment, self-doubt, or frustration, the energy around you feels conflicted. People may not know why, but something about your presence feels out of tune. Energy, like color, is subtle, and it picks up on what's beneath the surface. So if you choose to wear yellow to invite confidence, but you're filled with inner chaos, the color can't override the signal. That doesn't mean you need to be perfect. It just means being honest with yourself and matching your intention to your inner state. The second mistake is ignoring how your clothes feel, not emotionally, physically. If the fabric itches, the fit is off, or it tugs at your body in ways that make you self-conscious, it pulls you out of presence. You spend the day adjusting, second-guessing, shrinking. That kind of distraction weakens the frequency you're trying to send. No matter how beautiful the color is, if it makes you feel off balance, it works against you. Choose comfort that supports confidence, not just appearance. The third mistake is subtle but incredibly common. Wearing clothes tied to old emotional memories. That blouse you wore the day you were dismissed. The dress that reminds you of a relationship that hurt. Even if the color is technically right, the emotional imprint stays with the garment and with you. Every time you wear it, your body remembers, and whether or not you realize it, your mood shifts. You might feel suddenly withdrawn or agitated or small. That's because you're not just wearing fabric, you're wearing history. And sometimes that history needs to be released. Letting go of certain items in your closet isn't wasteful, it's respectful. You're honoring the version of you that lived through that chapter and giving yourself permission to move on. Another mistake that dulls energy is overusing bold, intense colors on days that call for softness. Fridays, for example, are energetically gentle. They are about openness, receptivity, calm magnetism. But if you wear loud, sharp reds or blacks without grounding them, they can overpower your natural field. They make conversations feel heavier. They create emotional tension you didn't intend. That doesn't mean red or black are bad. They're powerful tools, but they require care and clarity. Use them when you want to assert, lead, or make a sharp point. Avoid them when you're hoping to connect, receive, or reflect. Especially on a Friday where subtlety is strength, softer tones tend to serve you better. The final and often most overlooked mistake is dressing with detachment, going through the motions, picking the first thing that fits, treating your body like it's just something to cover rather than something to honor. This mindset flattens your energy. It sends a message of disinterest to yourself and to others. When you dress with presence, even in small ways, choosing a color that reflects your intention, smoothing your collar, wearing that one piece that makes you stand a little taller, you shift the energy immediately. Not because it changes how you look, but because it changes how you feel, and how you feel changes what you attract. None of this is about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about noticing when something feels off and gently adjusting. You don't have to overhaul your wardrobe or reinvent your style. You just need to become more aware of what your clothes are carrying. Is that shirt supporting who you are today, or is it echoing who you used to be? Does that color bring out your presence, or does it mute it? These are quiet questions, but they lead to loud changes. Because when your outer layer matches your inner clarity, people feel it. They trust you faster. They hear you more deeply. The room responds differently. That's the power of intentional dressing. That's the energy of color when it's not just worn, but lived. So before you dress for your next Friday, or any day you want to align more deeply, pause. Check in with yourself. Ask what you want to feel, not just what you want to wear. And then choose clothing that helps bring that energy forward, not drag it down. That small shift could change the entire tone of your day. Final, so maybe color isn't just about style. Maybe it's a quiet language between you and the world. A soft signal about how you're feeling, what you're ready for, and who you're becoming. Over the last few minutes, we explored how something as simple as a shift in shade, honey yellow, pure white, blush pink, soft lavender, earthy brown, can carry energy, not magic, not superstition. Just a subtle, science-backed awareness that light, frequency, and emotion are always talking to each other. And every Friday, whether you notice it or not, you're already sending signals. Through your tone, through your timing, through the way you enter a room. The colors you choose aren't just visual, they are vibrational. They support, reflect, or sometimes even conflict with the energy you're trying to bring. But the beautiful thing is, you get to choose, you get to align, you get to show up with intention. Not to perform, not to impress, but to resonate more clearly with what you actually want to receive. Whether that's trust, ease, focus, stability, a sense of lightness, or simply the permission to start the weekend feeling whole. There's no right or wrong color. There's only what feels right for you on that day in this season of your life. And that small act of choosing, consciously, kindly, can change how people see you, how the day unfolds, and how you see yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for being curious, open, and willing to explore something deeper than what meets the eye. I hope this brought you a moment of clarity, a sense of calm, maybe even a gentle nudge toward your own version of alignment. However your Friday looks this week, may it carry the kind of energy that feels true, nourishing, and quietly powerful. And may you never forget, you are allowed to show up softly and still shift the whole room. I'll see you next time.